Hi, this is Mitch Mitchell of I'm Just Sharing. I had to do this video tonight, which is Sunday night, rather than Saturday night, because Saturday night I was extremely angry. I was angry because we had just heard the George Zimmerman verdict, and it was just astounding. There was just no way I ever saw that coming. Now, I'll tell you the truth. I didn't watch all the trial stuff. I don't usually watch all that stuff. I'm thinking that I knew enough of the news to know kind of what had happened. I mean, goodness, how could you miss all that stuff? We've heard about it for a year. We all know that this guy killed Trayvon Martin. He killed this kid. He claimed it was self-defense. He stalked the kid. Now, it may have been self-defense at the last minute, but early on he stalked this kid. 911 told him, don't follow the kid. He followed the kid. He got into something with the kid, and there you go. So those facts weren't in dispute. And yet, supposedly, the prosecution was unable to seal the deal. They messed up. How could you mess this up? Well, they obviously did. And I didn't want to hear any of that last night. I really didn't. I didn't want to hear, well, this is how justice works. I didn't want to hear where you go off of logic and facts rather than emotion. I didn't want to hear any of that. I was angry. I can't remember the last time I was that angry about any kind of news story whatsoever. I can't. I wasn't angry at Casey Martin. I wasn't angry at, Robert Blake. Wasn't angry at any of that stuff. This one made me angry. This one here, we had a child we had a body. We have a body. I mean, are you kidding me, Florida? Are you kidding me, you 6 jurors? That's how I felt last night. I was angry. I was so angry that anyone on Facebook who wanted to try to give reason to this, I just blocked. Well, I didn't block them, but I deleted their message. I said, this is not the time for that. No. See, here's one of those kind of things that a lot of people don't get. They don't understand. You don't mess with someone when they're angry. You just don't, unless you're bigger than they are, unless you're badder than they are, and unless you know they're totally wrong. You don't mess with people when they're angry. A lot of people are brave online and they want to do all these things, and then because you can't really do anything back to them and you decide, no, I don't want to deal with that, and you delete their stuff, then they want to blame you, for censorship. Well, okay, yeah. It was total censorship. But you know what? This ain't a democracy. You don't always get to state your opinion on my stuff. I don't always get to state my opinion on your stuff. That's just how it is, And then you get to decide what to do with it. I had someone earlier this year who did the same thing on Facebook. She didn't like what I had to say, came back at me and these stupid things. I said, well, you asked the question, which she had actually asked the question. And I gave her an answer. She didn't like the answer. I left. And that's plain and simple. But this wasn't, a close friend of mine. This wasn't someone that I really knew all that well. It was someone who I had met elsewhere online. And so, leaving really wasn't a big deal. But you hope that people who talk to you often enough know that there are those times that you just leave stuff alone. You don't try to be the voice of reason at that moment. You leave stuff alone, and it doesn't always happen. So I was extremely angry last night. I was so angry that had I been living in certain places and I had certain weapons, and I don't live in those places and I don't own any weapons. Darn shucks. Anyway, I don't own any weapons. I might have wanted to go out and do something. Now, yeah, you say that, or I say that, and then I have to say, okay, you know what, you are in your 50s after all. This isn't like you're in your 20s and you can really, go out there and really do anything. I may still be kind of a big guy, but let's face it, the old fighting days are done, You're just not going to get that done anymore. Still, I was really angry. I can't believe this guy got off. I can't believe that we got this 17-year-old kid dead. We know who did it. Police found him with it, and he got off. I'm sorry. This was just a travesty of justice. There's nothing anyone could ever say to me that would make me see this in a different light. Just not going to do it. I'm not going to say what I think. Yeah, I am. You know what? Yes, I am. This was based on race. This was totally based on race. Everybody in America knows, even if they don't want to admit it, that had that been a black man who had killed a white kid and claimed self-defense, he would have got the death penalty. Just would have. I'm sorry, this is still America. This is just how it is. Even in Florida with their gun laws, whatever, he'd have got the death penalty. In Texas, he'd have got the death penalty. Yeah, okay, in California, he wouldn't have got the death penalty. Maybe not in New York, but in a lot of those states, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, he'd have got the death penalty. Wouldn't have been a question. They couldn't have found a jury anywhere in the state that would have seen it any other way. So, there it is. So, I was angry. Now, here's the funny thing. These lessons that you learn. The guy who helped me to even get madder turned out to be the guy who helped to calm me down. Very intriguing. I deleted 3 of his messages because he had just irked me so much. And I even said on a thing, don't leave another message here. Do not do it. I will delete it again. He's the guy clean censorship. Then he wrote me a private message, and I had my say. I said, no, you don't get to inflame me. He said, I wasn't trying to. I said, you did. I said, this is one of those problems sometimes that people don't get. You inflame someone else. You help to stir the pot. Then you want to claim, oh, I get free speech. I get to do. No, you don't. Or put it this way, you do, but you're going to suffer the consequences. It's a stupid thing. I don't know why people want to do that. People got mad when Malcolm X said that what he said about Kennedy when Kennedy was assassinated. Chickens coming home to roost and such. Bad timing. What kind of idiocy is that? Unless you have the stuff to back it up. And even Malcolm X didn't have the stuff to back that up. So, Anyway, this guy helped to calm me down. We got to talk about some things. And in the talk, and as things started to shift, I calmed down. And it's a better feeling to calm down than to stay mad at certain stuff. So, I'm not as mad second day. I'm disappointed. I feel hurt. I feel bad for the family. I feel mad at the state of Florida. I feel mad at those jurors. I'm definitely mad at Zimmerman. But there's nothing you can do. The system failed that kid. People are going to say the justice is justice. The system failed that kid. The system failed Rodney King. That's the system. My God, Rodney King, they had on tape. And they let those guys off. Yeah. I have a feeling this isn't the end of it. I think that we're going to hear more as time goes on. And that's all I'm going to say. But for me, at this point, I'm done with the topic. So if anyone leaves something here to try to justify what happened, it ain't going to stay. I'm telling you that right now. I'm not looking for commiseration. I'm not necessarily looking for people to totally agree with me on this thing here. But I don't want to hear a lot of garbage about Martin being this punk kid who did all this. You know what? That's a bunch of garbage. The defense did exactly what they wanted to do. They made the kid a criminal for buying a pack of Skittles, for wearing a hoodie, for attacking a man he thought was tracking him, who he thought was stalking him, who turns out he was, with a gun. You know what? There's no justification. Just not having it. So, anyway, this is one of those times where I just had to say my say to get it out there. This is Mitch Mitchell. I'm just sharing. And I'm not mad right now. And I want to keep it this way. Y'all take care.